First on the agenda, we would like to, first of all, everybody get a chance to look over the minutes that previously, made and what we have to do in separate. Everybody got a chance to look at May. Are there any corrections or? No corrections. Everybody okay with it? Can I get a motion? Maybe.
Do you want separate motions?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Seconded.
Okay. I move properly second by Brother
Street, Jimmy.
and second by Brother Field. All those in favor, please vote motion by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I have a motion for the minutes to make the approval. Can I get a motion for, how about any changes for Jim? Everybody have a change.
Move they be approved as mail.
Second. Yeah, second by Brother Street. I'm sorry, motion approved by Brother Street, second by Brother Beal for June 2024. All in favor, please. Say
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes. Thank you all. Moving now to the updates from the staff. Hughes, please.
All right, thanks, sir. Well, the good news is we were able to get our smart scale applications submitted, and tonight I figured I'd give you a quick overview of the projects that were submitted for consideration. And the first one we have on the screen right now is the turn lane project at Lake Caroline. You can see it add a right turn lane going southbound, extends the right turn lane going southbound, and then adds a left turn lane for the northbound traffic. That project cost is rounding up is about $10 million. And so we'll wait and see how it turns out. That's what was submitted for that project. Looks like this. So I'll just go with the second project is the Ladysmith project, which is a combination of 3 projects combined into one. Turn lanes at pedestrian accommodations on Route 1. As you can see, this is the intersection of Ladysmith Road and Route 1. So provide pedestrian accommodations going north on the west side of Route 1. We'll just slide to the next page. Okay. And then it continues north and adds a left turn lane on the northbound side to direct. And then it continues with a northbound. What's the next one? Continues with a northbound left turn lane at Deerfield. And finally has a left-bound turn lane, northbound left turn lane at Pine. So we essentially combined 3 projects into one project for the smart scale application, and that total is about $34 million. Those 3. And then Page and Marie is at the northern end of the county. That provides some extended turn lanes and site distance improvements at the intersection of Page Road and Route 1 and Marie Road and Route 1. And if you recall, we also applied for a Safer Streets grant in combination with Spotsylvania, for Spotsylvania is doing the intersection to the north of here. And hopefully those two projects, two applications will get funded and we would have improvements not only here, some additional improvements here, but also improvements in Spotsylvania. So it kind of creates a triangle, and the application combined the two projects to help potentially reroute traffic to this intersection to hopefully eliminate the left turn, the bad left turn movement on to Route 1 at Marie Road.
Leon, if I could ask you a question about that part of the project.
Sure.
The traffic suddenly comes along Marie Road from Arcadia Road over in Spotsylvania.
Yep.
Right at the county line, Marie Road just keeps falling apart. I've traveled that road for 40 years on and off, and it has no base. It just, they patch it, they resurface it, they do everything they can with it, and it just keeps sinking into the mud. It's also narrow and curvy. Who's going to be looking at that part of the triangle to make sure it can handle the traffic?
Well, I believe the Safer Streets grant does, because
Okay.
it routes traffic back through that intersection to here, so,
It should look at the entire,
yeah. the
not just the
entire
intersection
triangle,
boards
yeah.
of it. Okay.
And then finally, we have the pedestrian improvements at the intersection of Rogers Park and Route 1. And you can see the addition of the crosswalk, to improve striping, and then the pedestrian accommodations along 207, extending up to Welcome Way Drive on the south side of 207, and then pedestrian accommodation extending up to just beyond the hotel site there on the north side of Route 207. And that project estimate was about $13 million. So those were our 4 applications that were submitted for Smart Scale. And we'll see what happens later in the year.
So what red is that sidewalks?
Yes, so the red, you see the kind of the white line in the red, that would be the sidewalk.
Okay. So the white would be the sidewalk and the red is the buffer, or,
I think the red is ultimate right of way.
okay,
And there's a pretty significant amount of pedestrian traffic out here.
yes.
So definitely an improvement that's needed. And one thing I would say about Route 207, I'm gonna ask VDOT to look at doing a sign diet on I guess that's the western side, or the eastern side, I'm sorry, Route 95 from the interchange down to Luther Glen Road. Because right now, when you come off the interstate there, there are no less than 26 signs between the interchange and Luther Glen Road, just on the right side. So them counting in the median. So the goal is to provide some aesthetic enhancement, but as well as reduce the amount of confusion that there is with drivers coming off that interchange and having to, navigate all of those signs over there. So that's going to be hopefully a future project, because it's a gateway to our community, and I would like to have it look a little bit better than this Anywhere USA with all those signs. So that is the Smart Scale stuff, and then moving into the Driver Edge Road grant. So the county was awarded a grant through an industrial access funds program of VDOT to do a study on Dry Bridge Road. So it will produce plans for improvement of Dry Bridge from Route 207 back to Goldsville, I believe it is.
Yeah, if you're going the other way, yeah, if you're going across.
Yeah, the first major intersection just before you get the MCD. Is that Goldsville?
No, going.
Coleman's Mill.
Coleman's Mill.
Coleman's
Yeah,
Mill.
yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Coleman's Mill. Yeah.
Across the street, yeah.
Yeah, Coleman's Mill. So that's good news that we will get plans drawn. The bad news is we have to figure out a way to pay for it. So, but step one is at least getting it in a set of plans done, and then we can start tackling the way to pay for those improvements. Hopefully, there will be some development activity in that area, and as a result of that, then we can get some corporate participation to help fund, the improvements that will be identified in the study and in the plan. And then the next item is the Regional Transportation Authority and action by the board. So you all may recall, we had a presentation to the committee from Ian from GWRC. The committee recommended that the board participate in, I think, in the study group that was a part of that process. That group concluded its work at GWRC, and then our board, as well as the Spotsylvania County Board, both have passed resolution, and I think the King George Board has also passed a resolution not to participate in the Regional Transportation Authority. So just wanted to give you guys an update on that. And then final update item is the Route 639 STARS study. The district, the Fredericksburg district, listed the 639 bridge, I think, the #1 priority for STARS funding. And so STARS stands for Strategically Targeted Affordable Roadway Solutions. So hopefully that's a grant program to do a study on the interchange and the bridge. Hopefully we'll get awarded some funding there to do a study on the bridge over 639. So
What would be the limits of it?
I believe it would be probably the, what is it, eastbound, the eastern side, no, the western side. We're actually challenged tonight. The western side of the interstate, the off ramp at the southbound off ramp and southbound on ramp, as well as the northbound off ramp and northbound on ramp.
So just go from ramp to ramp across the bridge?
Well, and look at the entire interchange. I haven't seen exactly what was submitted, but my request was that we look at the bridge in the entire interchange. I don't know how far east it goes, because I think there becomes some right-of-way limitations when you get beyond the bridge there, the interchange off ramp.
Bridge and then conflict points with the ramps where they tie in 60 now.
Yeah.
Great to have a butterfly in there.
It'd be great to have anything to improve it. I will say there is some development activity occurring in that area, and from a previously approved rezoning case, there's a profit commitment of about $400,000 once a building gets a CO on one of the Bazaar property at a rezoning. The building gets constructed on there, then they're committed to a $400,000 profit that can be used for transportation improvements in that area. So there could be some contribution to help us, get that project started a little bit.
Is there any requirement that they dedicate right away? Or just the cash?
In that case, I believe it was just the cash, because they had access to 639 through Tunnel Road. So the Bazaar property has access on 639.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was just a cash contribution. But we have some other projects that are looking at that area, and so through the site plan process, we'll certainly be asking for right-of-way dedication, because those projects are looking to probably access on Bull Church Road, which is a very narrow road, and there's going to be a challenge to do anything, construction-wise.
Right.
Just getting construction traffic in there is going to be a challenge on Bull Church. So hopefully we can get some improvements, through that process. Those were the updates I wanted to provide tonight.
Any questions, concerns?
Yeah, I was just saying on the smart scale applications, there's a lot of coordination and back and forth between VDOT and a lot of things that the local government staff has to do to meet the gates, we call them. So congratulations, thank you. There are a lot of localities that kind of missed those deadlines and they're out of luck. But you guys did it, so hats off to you. Thanks to the board for resolutions of support. So good job coordinating all that.
Well, I would say thank you, David, for that, but I think, the thing should go to Cassie, because Cassie, did, I would say, the lion's share of the work, from the VDOT side, so.
I would say that Cassie does a lion's share of work for a lot of localities, but not all of them get it all submitted.
All right.
So you still did your part.
You should only push them so far. I'll pass
And
along.
thank you for doing your part.
Thank you.
Thank you.
She was very helpful.
Okay, we'll move forward to, unfinished business. First thing we'd like to talk about is the bylaws. For discussion on that.
So a couple meetings ago, Mr. Street raised the issue of our bylaws, which had not been adopted. And with that, I think remembering back originally what the pause was, to my recollection, that all of the board members had not provided, fulfilled their spot. So that's still the case. And I think going forward, we have 17 members, I believe, or 16 members identified as committee members. And as you all see from tonight's attendance and from prior attendance, I don't think we may never get to having a quorum as it is identified in the draft bylaws. So this is a red line of the things we've talked about before. And so I think, as a committee, we should consider an alternative to the traditional quorum definition for the committee to take action on that. So certainly open for ideas. There are any number of ways we can establish, for the committee to vote on its business when that is required.
Even a third of us don't always show up, so.
Yeah, that's kind of the issue. And so, I think as long as whatever method we establish, as long as we identify it in the bylaws, and we are meeting the requirements. So certainly open to any suggestions or ideas that, committee members may have that relates to being able to take a vote.
Yeah, I think, a quorum of 9 is a little exaggerated. And would we be in compliance with having staff and the board being able to make up a quorum? Or is it just the board?
Or is it you mean just the committee members?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think my preference would be staff not be voting.
Not vote?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say that the board wouldn't be voting either. I mean, everything we do is a recommendation to them. They get the final say, so why they need to vote here?
No, I'm talking about what we have. Yeah, I said board, but I was, us. Yeah, the committee.
He made committee.
I said board, not me, committee. Us.
Oh, no, I thought you said the staff would vote.
Well, what I'm asking was at least to open a meeting and to have a quorum, to have a quorum. So I'm saying if could we reduce the quorum to 5 as opposed to 9?
Yeah, I think.
And would a quorum consist of the committee members and the staff,
I was wondering where the 9.
but not on the vote side? You know what I mean? Not on the vote side, but
It happened 18.
I mean, is that a standard? I don't think it's much maintained.
yeah, I don't think it's half. I don't know how we came up with half.
Well, a lot
I
of,
thought it was a third. Wasn't it?
well, a third, most of it is a half. That way you're at least getting the impression you're representing the will of the committee. If it's only a third, then, you know, a small group like us could show up religiously and run the show kind of thing and run roughshod, which we don't want either, don't get me
Correct.
wrong.
Correct.
But we have to be able to conduct business, and even at 5, we wouldn't meet that this month, and we wouldn't have met it last month or the month before when we last met. So, you know, I'm not sure. I know Lisa sends out the reminders on a regular basis. Do many of the members contact you ahead of the meeting, Lisa, to let you know whether they'll be here or not? Okay.
So I need to put a whipping post on everybody. I need to call everybody before the meeting.
Or email or something, but even at that,
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, how many people look at their emails and
Right.
really follow up with it, really put it on the calendar. Yeah, you know. Maybe, you know, yeah, at least does a great job of sending the information out. Maybe if you could provide me with numbers, I wouldn't mind calling folks a week before. That way we can take a temperature as to who would be here and not be here. So I'm not the guy that's gonna harass. But, you know, just at least you can tell me, yes, I plan to be there, or I don't plan to be there.
well, Lisa, when you send the email, could you do it with the response as to whether or not they plan on attending? So they can check the box and send it right back to you?
Sure, I can come up with something.
Okay. That might help give you some idea who's going to be here.
That's why I sent some close emails from, thought it was gonna be full.
Yeah, well, last one was, but it was people from Lake Caroline.
Okay, so what does that solve for? I mean, are we still leaving the quorum at 9?
I don't think I think we take it down to 4 or 5.
Yeah.
If they don't wanna come, find somebody else to be on the committee.
Yeah, that would be my thought. If, you know, folks are not coming, then we need to go
Like
back to the board and
the board
have them.
members, yeah, I think they've been to one, they were like at the first or second one, they dropped out. Are you here as planning commission?
No, I'm
You're
here,
here as citizen.
as a citizen.
Are you here?
No.
Yeah. Both of y'all been on,
I haven't been, I'm BZA now, but I'm not even here with that.
so I don't know who, is it, I don't know who from the planning.
Mr. Weaver,
Oh, that's George.
Yeah,
He usually
George,
comes.
yeah, so I think we have
Well,
a dual role. I think you're here as a commission member and as.
and as,
Oh,
yeah.
So.
So we'll count him twice, we got 4 here
Well, Mr. Weaver had been a regular attendee.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
been pretty
Yeah.
faithful.
So I would say this, I don't have a problem with, you know, counting staff to open a meeting for, but I wouldn't want staff to vote
Right,
on the committee.
yeah, I mean,
But, no, that's what I'm saying. If we could just have staff assistants with opening the meeting, but not on a voting capacity.
right.
And if we have to table a vote, we might have to do that, but, you know, I don't know what's the purpose of, how would that help us by tabling the
Yeah,
vote when you
Yeah,
don't?
we'll move things along, that's for sure.
So tonight we have non-voting members, we have 3 here. So Lisa, myself, and Rick.
Are all 17 appointed or named?
Oh, you mean, has everyone been, has the
Yeah.
committee been filled out?
No.
No, we're missing, one.
We have a planning commission over there. One,
Yeah, well, the planning commission and then one from Madison. So we'll say, you know, the bylaws say, you know, the appointments are for 1 year, and so we're getting close to, you know, that 1 year renewal, and so we can certainly give a report to the board and with an attendance and say, hey, you want to reappoint the person or find someone else to serve. There's certainly not an expectation that you have 100% participation every night, but
Is there ability to join remotely? Maybe that would help some.
we can do it. It's requires some logistical hurdles, but I think it can be done.
You said it would have to be in the bylaws?
For other governing bodies.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
okay,
we
I
have
was just
the
want to make sure I
remote
heard.
attendance.
Correct. Yes.
And, you know, I don't think we're held to the same standard as say as the board, but as the, you know, the board certainly had to adopt a policy for remote attendance and,
Extenuating the circumstances.
we certainly, and then the question becomes, can you take a vote with the quorum? Because I know the emergency declaration that allowed bodies to vote remotely and take action remotely, you know, send it, that was in place for COVID. So I don't know, have to have an appointed body from the board, have to talk to a county attorney to see if those requirements filter down.
Right.
You know, I'm kind of like David. If you're gonna be committed, be committed. If you're not gonna be committed, be replaced.
Right.
That's just my take on it. I'm sorry. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we could even ask the board to appoint somebody else if
Yes.
somebody's not coming.
Yes. Yeah. Let's maybe give it another meeting. Let me, let Lisa send it out with the request, and maybe the week before I'll make the phone calls. We'll see how the next meeting turns out, see if we get a better attendance. Should nothing change, then we can certainly go back to the board, say, okay, we need to.
Right. Lisa, could you email me a copy of the proposed bylaws as they stand?
But I think a quorum of 5 or 6 would make it a lot
I
easier.
agree too.
Yeah.
And we probably, most of our meetings, I think we've had that.
And then it's summertime too, people on vacation, doing different things.
There's a storm, you know.
Yeah. So I think what was, you know, something that the committee may consider to address the summertime issue is the board, we took one meeting off this summer. You know, might consider taking 2 meetings off in the summer months, especially this time of year. There's a lot going on. School's about to start. You know, there are a lot of commitments. I don't think there are any. We do all of our actions leading up to say stuff like smart scale. I don't think anything is going to catch us if we have 2 meetings off in the summer, where we would need to take a vote to make a recommendation.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
something to
from a VDOT standpoint, I mean, there's really nothing happening with smart scale until January. The county's not gonna do anything with revenue sharing. Other than the secondary 6-year plan update in the spring, I don't know what would be on the agenda for the fall, other than getting our ducks in a row for whatever recommendation we're gonna make on secondary 6-year plan update.
So I have a question about, you mentioned revenue sharing. I think this year, I think we chose not to do anything because of the deadline. But next, is revenue sharing alternate years? Okay, so we won't have revenue sharing applications this go around. It will be, is it
We'll be applying for them next year.
for next? Okay, okay. So then we'll have an opportunity to get our rankings done and figure out if we're gonna apply for revenue sharing. Okay.
Well, sir, I'd make a recommendation that we maybe, table the bylaws for 1 more month. And, at least get an opportunity to send us over the bylaws, so we all take a chance, get an opportunity to digest that a little bit differently, and, bring it back up the next meeting, and give us my recommendation. If there's a motion, be put on the floor, entertain it.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by, Brother Street and second by Brother Bill, that we table this until next month.
And just as you're aware, the committee's first meeting was December 6th of last year, so that 1 year is
Right around.
approaching. So members will certainly have an opportunity to show their interest or not between now and December.
Yeah. Lisa, one more thing, if you don't mind, if I can put on your list, if you could possibly get us a chart, when I said chart, just a attendance chart.
Yeah.
Just
Get some gold stickers.
You want that?
Our name.
You want it?
Yes.
You want it put to like all the members, hey, information. and it's
That would be good.
Send out the,
Yeah.
maybe send out the bylaws,
Yeah.
say, these have been adopted, here's the bylaws, and here's also the opinion.
Yeah.
You know,
That'd be good. Yeah. Take me back to school.
Yeah. Call roll.
I'm gonna get kicked out of this committee quick, fast, fast.
When you're coming, you know, they'll get kicked out.
Yeah. Okay, guys, let's, open the floor for new business. Any new business?
So I would just mention something to put on your radar, that got put on my radar. So a week before last now, I attended the state conference of the American Planning Association. And the keynote speaker at the conference was the CEO of the Port Authority of Virginia. And it was very interesting discussion on the growth of the port and the fact that, you know, Virginia port is the largest on the East Coast, and there's a ton of cargo coming in and out of the port. Lots of warehouse needs between the port and, say, the Richmond region, which in many people's minds includes Carolina. And after the discussion, I wanted to ask him about a project that I had worked on in Prince George and how that was faring. And so I told him where I was now, and he immediately sent over the deputy director for policy and development to speak to me. And so through that conversation, we have a meeting set up with the director of policy and transportation for the port next week. And the genesis is that, you know, their perspective is that Caroline County is on the radar of a lot of people because of our geographic location and proximity to the port and our access to transportation, the broader statewide transportation network. Specifically 64, 295, the ability 301. And so, you know, they talked about having the ability to help locate and try to secure grant funding for transportation improvements. And so, you know, study funding, I should say. And so one of the studies that I certainly hope that they would try to help us with is a study of the interchange at 110 Carmel Church. I think some years back.
104.
I'm sorry.
104.
Yeah, what is 110?
Ladies.
Ladies. I'm sorry, I haven't learned my interchanges yet.
Sorry.
But at 104 Carmel Church, to look at doing some improvements there because there are significant interest. There is significant interest on a number of fronts in large industrial projects in the Carmel Church area. And so, as we all know, about every 3 or 4 years, we have a truck turnover on the southbound on ramp to 95. If traffic sometimes gets backed up on the southbound off ramp come on 95, there's a pretty bad curve in there. So I definitely think it's an interchange that needs some improvement or at least some attention. And so hopefully through this conversation, you know, there might be an avenue to secure some funding to help study that interchange as well. So, but there are other, you know, development projects that are coming along, and through that rezoning process, hopefully we can get applicants to contribute to help mitigate their impacts on interchange, because anything, you know, industrial warehousing that has traffic impacts is certainly going to that interchange. And so I'm hopeful that there are some opportunities coming along that will afford us the ability to take that first step and get studies done so that we can start to, you know, go after some funding and then, you know, give a robust look at the revenue sharing program and other funding programs out there so that we can, you know, start to help improve, get ahead of improving the network before it becomes such a jammed up situation now, or,
Let me ask you a question. Friday and Saturdays, we get a dump from 95 to Route 1, going south, pretty much all of them. David, have you all done any counts for the weekends? I know you usually do your counts during the weekday, Route 1 gets slammed on a Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, I think all of our counts are during the week, unless there were a specific reason why we were counting it on the weekend. Are you aware of any?
I mean, it's, when I tell you, like this past weekend, it was bumper to bumper from Ladysmith to past Virginia Center Commons. Bumper to bumper. I've never seen it that bad.
I think anytime there's an incident,
It was probably something on 95. I don't know. I didn't get the information, but again, every weekend, I grew up here. Every weekend it's worse. When I come out of Oxford Road now, to try to make a left-hand turn, I can sit there 20 minutes. So now, I've told all my neighbors, go all over Jericho Road and come around to the light.
Right.
That'll be a safer way, a better way. Okay, but you coming off Oxford Road, you can't even make a right for the most part. That traffic is horrendous southbound.
yeah, the 95 on the weekends.
Yeah, and don't let Kings Dominion or Meadow Events happen if show or something. That's
Right.
It gets more impacted. I'm not saying that I don't want them to have a show. That's not what I'm getting at. But I'm just saying we certainly should consider or take a look at the traffic count that's coming in there, so that can help fuel some funds for the interchange or some bypasses or something.
Leon, if I'm not related to that, but somewhat distantly related, I guess. In the past, the board has actively sought an additional interchange somewhere in the county on 95, either at 605 or Cedon Road. I forget what number that is. At the time, that was determined that 605 was too close to the Spotsylvania Thornburg exit. And the feds were looking at Cedon Road. And after that, I heard nothing. Is it still the board's desire to have an additional interchange off 95 in the county?
Well, Mr. Street, this is the first that I've ever heard there was an interest for another. So,
And then they left there and went to 601 Goldsville Road. Smith Dairy Farm.
Yeah.
Smith Dairy Farm shot that one down.
Ah, okay,
I don't know
mean,
why, but
yeah.
that was a nasty fight.
right.
But because we have the what is it, the sewer, the plant there, the stormwater, what is that, on 601, right on Goldsville Road? Where the sewer line come to the main sewer line, where the rest area is.
Oh, yeah.
sewer intercept.
Yeah. And they were thinking about putting a butterfly and exchange in that area,
Okay.
because the bazaar originally was gonna go there.
Yeah.
The bazaar in Ladysmith, that was gonna originally go there, and then it ended up going up to Ladysmith.
Right.
But,
I know at the time, one of the things was it would take 10 to 15 years to get the federal approvals and all that kind of stuff. If it's still a long-term goal of the county to get an additional interchange, and frankly, I think it should be, since we're probably the only county along the corridor that only has 2 interchanges.
Yeah.
They should stay active on it and pursue it.
Some of the benefits of, not taking away from 605, but some of the benefits for 601, because it's almost the center of the county.
Okay.
That would have been a benefit for 95, for Ladysmith, Carmel Church. They needed a fire station right
Yeah.
there at Goldsville. They wanted a state police headquarters, not headquarters, but a barracks there. All of those things were talked about being put right there at Goldsville Road, which would allow state police not to have to go from one end of the county to the other, and
Right.
same with the
Right.
emergency vehicle.
Right.
So that was kind of considered the center of the county, so
Yeah.
to speak, and it makes sense there, even.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of infrastructure would have to be changed to get
Right.
into it, but,
Sure.
because,
is it not in the
Lane.
comp plan anymore?
Huh?
There's nothing in the comp plan about another interchange? I don't
think
remember
so.
seeing it.
comp plan is coming up to be changed again, right?
The horizon year is 2030, and so we're fast approaching that. So.
Mhm. You have anybody putting together a committee? I mean, when do you start putting together a committee for that?
Well, the first thing we're gonna do is try to secure a consultant to help us put it together.
That's different from what you've done in the past.
Well, I'm not saying there won't be a committee associated with that.
Okay.
Involved in that process. But I'm saying the first step is to get some additional help to
Yeah.
help us
Yeah.
go through the process, because
You need some
this will
professionals.
be a significant rewrite of the plan, an update of the plan. Because I don't think there hasn't been a really significant update to the comp plan probably since it was adopted. There have been some minor, what I call minor amendments, and I think most recently the addition of the PERT areas. At least I don't know if you can think of any prior to,
EDA and like something,
yeah.
and
So-
then something for those greenway.
Right.
That would be something.
Yeah, but I wouldn't consider, those as major amendments to the plan. I mean, the UDA certainly was, because it eliminated about 1,100 acres of industrially zoned property from the county's inventory, which, we're trying to claw back some of that now. But
It makes so much sense to have the professionals do what they do, but have the committee
yeah,
of individuals right along with them so that they learn and understand as well.
and I am an advocate for that. The three comp plans I've been involved in, rewrites that I've been involved in, have all been very heavily citizen oriented. Even the one that I did during the COVID period, we were fortunate enough to have citizen involvement through, electronic participation. And I have to tell you, I believe to this day we had more citizen participation because we had the electronic option than we would have if we would have gone out and done community meetings in different parts of the county. Because the plan was originally to go out and be in the community, but as it turned out, our participation through the online portals that were created, I think far exceeded what we would have had if we would have done in-person meetings. And so there,
It's exciting to know, and it's good to get input from those in the community to help those professionals make those decisions.
well, it's the community's plan.
It's the community's plan, exactly. It's
So
not
that-
forced on.
Yeah, exactly right. So it is most important that we have citizen involvement, because
Yeah.
it is the citizens' plan. I think if there's anything I would preach as a planner, my soapbox is that we hear citizens or say, oh, that staff has put together a plan, or it's staff's plan, or it's the planning department's plan. Well, it's not the planning department's plan, it is the community's plan. And so it should be very heavy citizen involvement, and they should drive that process, even with professionals involved. So I will certainly look to that being the case here as well. So, yeah, it is time to start ramping up that effort, and we're doing that. And the board allocated us some funds this year to start that process. So fortunately, we've been able to staff up and get people on board. So some of these projects that have been out there, we can kind of start to tackle now.
Yeah.
So that's a high priority. There are lots of things that we're trying to.
What is that, chapter 9 in that thing, transportation, that thing that hasn't moved in the county yet?
Yeah, chapter 9 right here.
Yeah.
Give it to you. Speaking of such, we could look and see it, that interchange is in here. I don't think it is.
No.
But Mr. Street, the one thing that hasn't changed since those initial conversations, and I don't know if you recall what year that was.
No, not really.
But the one thing that hasn't changed is it's still a very long process.
Yes, yeah. Which is all the more reason, if it's desired, it should be pursued.
Yeah, and it would take, I think literally an act of Congress almost to get the FHWA to put in an interchange. But I would say never say never, because I don't think I know Spotsylvania is bringing back a portion of a road project at Massaponics that was identified 10 years ago, probably, for some improvements there. And now, for all these years, a portion of those improvements coming back are probably going to get done at some point. So they showed up in the point, like I said, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Well,
And
kinda went
recently,
to-
certain, Floyd was on the board at the time, and probably Jeff Seeley.
Okay. But yeah, I will ask them about that.
Yeah,
that history. You probably don't remember that, but you're probably too young. Oh, wow, okay. Okay. It's sort of something to think about. I mean, I know a jurisdiction that mixed the interchange on 295 and they regret it to this day.
I'm sure.
But that's all I have. Mr. Chief.
All right, it's, no new business, no, any other business? Entertain a motion to adjourn. Move to adjourn. Second. Moved and properly second, by, Mr. Street, and second by, Mr. Beal, that we adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. See you guys next meeting. It wasn't just worth your time, you know.